Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Blitz, and in today's video, I am going to be breaking into the two tanks which are confirmed to be in the Blitz Fair and the Black Friday event. We have the Lion and the 116 F3. The Lion is confirmed to be this year's Blitz Fair tank, which is kind of cool, to be entirely honest. I'm really excited for this tank. I was really hoping it would be the Waffenträger Alfie 100, but this is also a really fun-looking vehicle, and we're going to be talking about all of its capabilities. So what does the Lion have going for it? Well, it has 2,943 damage per minute, which makes it the highest out of all the auto-reloading mediums. The Caro 45 ton is around 2,850, and that's pretty similar for the Progetto 65, so that actually makes this the king of DPM. But it's rather interesting in how the damage per minute works. The Caro features a 4-shell clip. The more you shoot, the less DPM you have. The Progetto has a 3-shell clip. The more you shoot, the less DPM you have. The Lion also has a 3-shell clip. The more you shoot, the more DPM you gain, but only with your 2 shells. You can see that shell 3 is a 4.53 second reload plus a 3.33 second interclip, so more like 8 seconds. Then we have shell 2, which is 3.6 seconds, plus another 3.33, which is around 7 seconds. And then we have shell 1, which is 15 seconds. So basically, you gain damage per minute when firing shell 3 and 2, but you lose a massive amount if you shoot shell 1. But it's not as bad as something like the Caro. With the Caro 45 ton, you're going to have around a 20-second reload on shell 1s. This tank's got around a 4-second faster reload, which is going to be noticeable, but I still wouldn't recommend dumping that reserve shell unless you really need to, especially because the tank only has around 340 damage per shot. But yeah, DPM's nice because you have this shell 3 basically for free. So you have an effective DPM of 3,131 if you fire that first shell and then use your most effective damage per minute, which is really, really nice. The vehicle features really good mobility, top speed of 52, a reverse of 21, and as we can see, a very good power to weight, 16.3 on medium terrain and 21.2 on hard terrain. In general, this vehicle's gun is nice, 0.307 dispersion, which actually makes it super, super nice because as we know, the Italian mediums are not known for their accuracy. The Caro is sitting at 0.344, and the Progetto, even after the buff, is still 0.326. It's not a very accurate tank. So this vehicle at 0.307 is actually going to be so nice. And not only that, it's got very good levels of penetration. As we can see, 339 on the heat. Its standard is 261, so pretty solid in all those regards. In general, this looks to be a really, really fun medium. It's got solid accuracy, great DPM, and while its armor isn't anything impressive, you still will get some troll bounces. The outer portion of this vehicle's turret, as we can see, are auto ricochets due to the way it's angled, and because it's a 70mm plate, you're also not going to be able to overmatch it even with something like a 183. Now the turret itself is pretty weak, you'll cut through it every single shot, but if you're aiming at this vehicle at distance, it will get some rather troll bounces because of the way the turret's designed. And same for the upper plate. We can see that the upper plate at certain angles is actually pretty strong. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be that strong on flat ground, but the fact that you need even more than 300mm of heat at certain angles is pretty solid. It's definitely better than a Leopard in terms of armor, but the lower plate's only 103, meaning that high explosive squash head firing vehicles will be able to cut through. The sides are terrible at only 32. The rear is also, or not the rear, sorry, I messed that up. The rear is 32. The sides are also really bad at 50. So the tank's not going to be super good at getting bounces. But what I will say is that it's better armor than the Leopard, and the gun looks really, really solid and fun to use. Overall, this is a tank I'm quite excited for. It doesn't look overpowered. It actually looks fairly well balanced. And because of that, I think it's going to be really fun. Now we break into the 116 F3, which is the quite opposite, should I say. On paper, you know, you think, oh wow, that tank looks really good. Problem is, this is AP ammo without calibrated. Now you load Cali, its armor's already a bit weaker, but it gets worse. You load heat, yeah, that's not very good. That's pretty dang bad. So let's start off taking a look at the gun and overall capabilities of the 116. We're going to run my normal loadout here. Boop, 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 boop. And I'm misclicking. There you go. Okay. So this is your normal loadout. 2,459 DPM. Pretty mediocre. The damage per shot's nice, though. 490 is actually really good, and it's going to be able to outtrade a lot of heavies like the IS-7 or anything like that. Now, the vehicle does feature sandbags, so what you'd probably see me doing is taking off improved fuel, taking off a small food, which would be this one, and running double sandbags. So if you're running all of these things correctly, the vehicle is going to have 2,430 DPM, 490 damage per shot. And by the way, it does have very good pen, 384 on the heat. Very nice pen. The accuracy, though, is pretty poor. 0.343 with refined. It's 0.404 without it. That's awful. So you're going to have to run refined on this vehicle. And even with that, it's still mid. Its on-movement dispersion also is not very good. So something else you're going to have to keep in mind. Power-to-weight ratio, pretty mediocre as well. Its top speed, however, is decent at 42, and it reverses at 15. Something I do like with double sandbags, 2,770 health. That's actually quite a bit, to be honest, and will be able to be very nice when you pair it with reactive armor. I talked about this tank the other day, and I didn't really add all the things together. I didn't realize that it had sandbags. With sandbags and reactive, plus the alpha damage, it is actually going to be quite nice in terms of the overall hit point capabilities. The problem is the armor just sucks. I mean, look at the armor on this tank. It's only about 307 millimeters on the turret cheeks. And if you're using gun depression, it's even worse because of the way the turret's designed. Yeah, pretty bad. I mean, you can see just how bad the turret armor is. Basically, you load gold and you cut through. Even if you run enhanced armor, it's not saving you. Now, it does have a really troll mid plate, we can see, which is about 390. People will hit that and they will bounce. I can tell you that for a fact. And the lower plate is also rather troll against AP. We can see that it's just a kind of troll way it's angled, but the side armor is absolutely horrible due to this flat plate here, which is terrible, only 40 millimeters thick, meaning that literally if it's in a side scrape, any 120 millimeter, or 122, should I say, will overmatch your sides. But yeah, armor-wise, it's not good. It really isn't. But the gun, the damage per shot, the hit points, and other capabilities, I think are pretty good. I don't think it's going to be a bad tank. I don't think it's going to be anything special either, though. We'll have to see what its actual capabilities are like when it gets released into the game. In other news, there are a couple other vehicles that will be involved in the Black Friday event, like the WZ-114 SP2, which was actually rather substantially buffed in the latest update. The 114 using gun depression has upwards of 360 millimeters of turret armor. That means even loading heat, because of the way, Cali works, that's 392 and using gun depression. The turret on the 114 is really good now, and that's actually quite nice. I think that this is a really solid heavy, so that's something to keep in mind. So overall, these are the tanks to keep in mind. 114 SP2 will be part of a draw. Same for the BZ58 too. Apart from that, well, there's not much else to say. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and let me know what you guys think about these vehicles. I will be breaking into the BZ58 too at some point as well. This is going to be another tank that will be featured in a draw, as I said. But I don't really see much of a reason to ever want this tank when you have the Tech Tree 50 TP to your disposal. So, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.